Hey everyone, welcome to our show Timeout. I'm your host Trey Avant with my co-host, my brother Noah Avant, and this is a two-man webcast that discusses sports and entertainment. Before we begin, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for @Boca Tribune. You can also follow the show on Instagram at @the_timeout7. Huddle up! It's time for a timeout. All right, Noah, starting off with the NBA. LaMarcus Aldridge just retired due to an irregular heartbeat. What are your thoughts on that situation with LaMarcus and the future for the Brooklyn Nets?
Well, it's very unfortunate to see. It's just something that that mirrors a lot of the Chris Bosh situation in Miami after LeBron left. Only difference is I don't think LaMarcus Aldridge really played that much of a role into the success for the for the Nets. They're gonna be fine without him, but it does put a hole in the already bigger hole in their post. They really don't have the post to help them. I mean, to help them really get past the Sixers, to be real. And so now you take that in consideration. You don't have LaMarcus Aldridge. Blake Griffin is not going to be able to be the guy to stop Joel Embiid, because DeAndre Jordan is going to need help. I mean, how Embiid's playing this year, that's going to be a team effort. And considering the post that they have now is not, how do I put this? It's not very effective. It's going to be scary to see them play a team like the Sixers, the Heat, the Lakers. It's going to hurt. But ultimately, LaMarcus Aldridge has to do his best for his health. We don't want to see a guy, do the unthinkable out there on the court. So I'm glad that he's actually taking his health into consideration.
Yeah, I know he's had the irregular heartbeat for quite some time now, but it's never really affected him. That's why he kept playing. But I've seen that he said that the last game he played in, was one of the scariest moments of his life. Something happened with his heart, and he was like, "Yeah, this is it. I can't play anymore because if I play again, that's probably gonna be it for me." So I mean, he's doing the right thing for his health. I agree with you. It's not gonna affect the Brooklyn Nets that much, but it does. I agree with you on the fact that it makes a bigger hole where they have with the big man. They have Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and LaMarcus. Now LaMarcus is gone. So now they're really missing Jarrett Allen. They really shouldn't have traded him. But I mean, they couldn't get rid of DeAndre Jordan. That's Kevin Durant's dog. So hey, that was a dumb decision. It's gonna bite them. It's gonna bite them in the end, especially when they go up against like Milwaukee and Philadelphia, Miami. That's really gonna bite them in the end. But let me ask you a question. Do you think LaMarcus had a Hall of Fame career?
No. At least not like if he did have a Hall of Fame career, he's not first ballot. He's gonna be like when we're in our like 30s, LaMarcus Aldridge would probably make the Hall of Fame. Like, oh, our kids are like, Dad, who's LaMarcus Aldridge? Oh, guy played for the Spurs. This down to 30. He's like one of those guys.
Well, I was looking at some of his accolades. 15 seasons, 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, NBA All-Rookie First Team, 19,951 points, 8,478 rebounds. And we've seen worse players get into the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, I don't know. I think LaMarcus has a good shot.
I think so. Like I said, like I said,
it'll take time, though. It'll take time.
Exactly. It's not going to be something that's going to happen right away. He's not going to sit these 3-4 years and then LaMarcus Aldridge. No. Chris Bosh had a better career than he did. He finally was a finalist. So Jamal Murray getting hurt. That was wild. Did you see that happen?
I seen the replay of the injury, and it looked worse than what it was because the way he like was on the ground, his knee kind of like was bulging out. But it's just a torn ACL, so he'll be back in a year. But I mean, he's it's still a major blow for the Nuggets. They got to rely way more on Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. So they'll still be good, and they got Aaron Gordon, so they'll still be good. I mean, they blew out the Heat yesterday, but missing Jamal Murray is gonna be really bad.
We're also missing Victor Oladipo in Miami.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a nice
I don't
transition.
know. Huh?
That was a nice transition.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Going
not
into
trying to transition just yet. I'm just pointing that out. I mean, I do feel like if we have Victor Oladipo, this might have been that might have been a different game. But with Jamal Murray being out, the Nuggets aren't going to do very well in the Western playoffs. I see it at max second round, at the very max. I just don't see them doing much without Jamal Murray. He's such an intricate role in their offense, and it's just for them to lose him the way they did. It's not looking good.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just he was the person that he was like the only really consistent source of scoring. You know, they have Michael Porter Jr., but he's going into his second playoffs. He's still really young. You know, he got to go up against Kawhi and Paul George and LeBron and Anthony Davis and Suns. You know, I mean, he could still explode, break out like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown did a couple years ago, but it's tough. And then you have Jokic. You know, he's a good, solid scorer. You know, facilitator, but scoring is not his main thing. You know, it's just facilitating. And then Jamal was the person who got the buckets. And so they got to rely way more on Michael Porter Jr. to get the buckets and Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, you know. So we'll see what happens there.
It's going to be interesting to see, but I just don't see them doing very well without Jamal. Like, essentially, the head of the snake is cut. Jokic plays a big role in our offense with his ability to facilitate, but the head of the snake is gone. You know, and that's gonna hurt. That's really gonna hurt. Like I said, second round, they can make it out the first round depending on where the seeding falls. But second round, cap. That's the cap. That's where it stops.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Finals, the Western Conference Finals, if they manage to make it that far, they're not getting past the Lakers. They're not getting past the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not how it's gonna go down.
Exactly. But moving on to the Miami Heat, like you said before, Victor Oladipo, he's injured. The Heat have been incredibly coy about his injury. They just said right knee soreness, and he's going to be out the next 4 games. So he could be back in our first, because right now we're on a road trip, so he could be back in the first home game. But just the way it's looking and the reporting, it looks like he's going to be out a lot longer. Hopefully he's not out for the season. But if he is, that's a tough blow. Not super tough because, I mean, we didn't give up much for him. But it's going to be a tough blow. But hopefully, you know, the Heat could re-sign him for a discount deal, you know, in the offseason. Because I feel like if he's healthy, you know, he could really be helpful to the Heat.
I have my hot takes about this, but Victor has been hurt a lot this year. Even when he was in Houston, he was hurt. It's something about him and his body is not cooperating right now. And this isn't good. He's been hurt a good majority of his career too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like he has to take this time to get his body together. He has an excellent staff with rehab and recuperation. So maybe this is what he needed. He needed to go to a team where he can actually get the help he needed for his body. Or excuse me, the help he needs for his body. But the Miami Heat got Victor Oladipo there for a reason. He said he wanted to play in Miami. He needs to do what he needs to do the rehab that the trainers are telling him to do everything he can. Because Pat Riley's in win mode now. He's in win now mode. He said this last year. He wants to win now. And I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, hopefully he's able to return just in time for the playoffs because then he could really help us out then. But moving on, Ben Simmons and Rudy Gobert, you know, those are like the 2 top players right now in Defensive Player of the Year candidacy. I think Bam is better than both of them, but you know, that's just me being biased, I guess. But
yeah,
Ben Simmons recently came out and just said that Rudy Gobert was pretty much overrated, and last time they went up against each other, he dropped 42 points on him. What are your thoughts on that?
Where's the cap? Where's the cap? There's no cap there. At the end of the day, you cannot say you're defensive player of the year and a guy who's in competition with you puts 42 on your dome piece. That's not good. That's not a good look. That is not a good look at all. Ben Simmons isn't even that much of a scorer like that. That's the even worse part. So he's not shooting the ball. Most of the points he scored was in your face. It was in your reign of defense. And what did you do? Nothing. Ben Simmons said, "Excuse me, little man. Euro dunk." And he's left-handed, so excuse me, Euro dunk. Like he little manned him.
Yeah, I always thought Rudy Gobert was an overrated defensive player. There's just too many players that just have big games against them. You know, it's just I always thought he was very. Even I think it was Jay Sean Tate. He dropped like 19 points, and he was like, I think it was him. It could have been somebody else. He was like, "Oh, I mean, I know it's gonna have a good." No, it wasn't him. I think it was Dorian Finney-Smith. He said, "I knew I was gonna have a good game because they had Rudy Gobert guarding me." That's disrespectful towards the defensive player of the year. That makes you know that defensive player, that Rudy Gobert is not that good of a defender. He's very overrated as a defender, in my opinion. But Ben Simmons, I was gonna wait. Hold on, sorry, 1 second. But Ben Simmons, you know, he has a case for defense player of the year as well. You know, he can guard positions 1 through 5. But I believe last night Kyrie Irving dropped 19 points on him on 72% shooting from the field. So I don't know.
That's Kyrie though. Like you had like Kyrie's not a real hooper. Like Kyrie Irving will go out there and get a bucket on you. Like Kyrie get put 40 on anybody if you really want to be real. So I mean, like a 42 points on Rudy Gobert by Ben Simmons looks worse than 19 points by Kyrie Irving on Ben Simmons. That's just in my opinion. That's just what it looks like. Because one, in my opinion, Ben Simmons is playing out of position, playing point guard. I just don't like him at the point guard spot. Whatever. Even that's the case. I know he can guard multiple positions, but if you have Ben Simmons guarding Kyrie Irving is going to cook. That's what he's going to do. He is going to cook, and I don't care what anybody says. So that's the first point. The second point is this: when you're talking about Ben Simmons, and I know I just said this, he's playing out of position at the point guard spot. But the fact that he can still guard 1 through 5 shows his defensive versatility. The reason why we like Bam so much as a defensive player of the year because of his defensive versatility. He can guard. I'm not gonna say he's gonna sit here and guard a point guard, but if need be, he's gonna sit up here and he's gonna guard a guard if he has to, and he can guard the center spot. He can guard. Realistically speaking, he'll guard maybe from small forward down to power forward. Some shooting guards, you really don't want him guarding a point guard. But he
can guard Steph pretty well.
You see what I'm saying? Like if it came down to it, he could, but it's not something you would prefer. You're not gonna sit up here and say, "Bam, go guard Steph Curry." That's not what you're gonna tell me you're gonna do. So I mean, it's just like these guys. That's what you want. When I'm talking about when I talk about the defensive player of the year conversation, Rudy Gobert is a good post defender, and even then, Ben Simmons showed that that's even a myth to an extent. So, in order for Rudy Gobert, in my eyes, to be a clear-cut defensive player of the year, he's got to stop letting guys have games on him. Because at this point, it's just like, oh, Rudy Gobert is guarding me. I'm going off for 30 tonight. I'm going off for 20 tonight. It's going to be I'm going to have a little fun tonight. And that shouldn't be the case if you're defensive player of the year.
Especially like a lot of players, they know he can't guard out on the perimeter. So they take him out to the perimeter, and then it's barbecue chicken. I know Jokic be having consistent good games against him. Embiid too. Karl Anthony Towns, career games against Rudy Gobert because he can't guard on the perimeter. You know, to take him out the perimeter, and then it's just barbecue chicken. But moving on. Luka Doncic, you seen that game winner?
Dude, one-legged.
He just threw it up. He couldn't even believe it. He was just like, hey.
That's upsetting. That's so upsetting. I
know Ja was hot.
What can you do about that? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, you just gotta just chalk it up to the game, charge it to the game.
Nah, there's nothing you can do about that.
But
But
moving
moving
on.
forward, transitioning to football, Julian Edelman retiring, and the whole conversation came up of whether he's had a Hall of Fame worthy career. Trey, I don't think I'd rather hear your. I want to hear your thoughts on this first, and then I'll give my piece.
Well, the NFL, I mean, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is pretty much notorious for being pretty hard to get into. There's a lot of great players who have not even sniffed the Hall of Fame. They've been finalists for years and has not even sniffed the Hall of Fame. And Julian Edelman, he's had a solid career. He's been amazing in the playoffs and postseason. But I mean, in the regular season, he's been pretty much just a regular receiver. He's a good player. He's one of the greatest Patriots of all time, but greatest football players of all time, greatest receivers of all time. No, no, he is not. He is not a Hall of Famer. I've seen him. People will be like, "Oh, Chad Johnson," comparing him to Chad Johnson, saying, "Oh, he's better than Chad Johnson." No, he's not. He's not better than Chad Johnson. He has his stats are like half of Chad Johnson's stats. So right then and there, you already know that he's not getting into the Hall of Fame. And you got Reggie Wayne. He's not better than Reggie Wayne. Not better than Hines Ward. Not better than Greg Jennings. Not better than Torrey Holt. So I don't understand where this argument comes from because he has 3 rings. He has 3
You
rings.
know what he is?
What is he?
He is a glorified Wes Welker.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because Wes Welker is a lot. Everybody agrees that Wes Welker is a greater player than Julian Edelman was.
I say that because of the strength of he just does not impress me as a guy that is going to that really was that good. Like I feel like Tom Brady made him what he was, just like Wes Welker was. If he were to go to a different team, he'd have a similar outcome like Wes Welker. He's a Wes Welker. He's literally Wes Welker. Tom Brady is known for taking undersized receivers, making them look like Randy Moss, and that's it. When he left the Patriots, he exposed the Patriots' whole system. That's the end of it. There's no other way around it. They're nothing without him. The receivers core that they had there in New England with no Tom Brady is not going to work. If Julian Edelman was smart, when Tom went to Tampa Bay, he should have went to Tampa Bay. That's what he should have did. Maybe he could have had a better chance.
I low-key think that's what he's trying to do. He's retiring because he has knee issues. He's retiring, and then a year from now, he's going to go to Tampa Bay if Tom is still playing, and then that's what Rob Gronkowski did. So I mean, Julian Edelman might do the same thing if Tom Brady's still throwing darts. Hey, you never know.
The only thing with that is Tom Brady has like a 1-year extension, so this is probably Tom's last year in the NFL. So
no, he has his contract running through like 2023.
Oh, and he had his year extension on top of that. So 2023 will be his last year. Okay, so it's like, so is it Julian Edelman gonna do? He's gonna go to the WWE, wrestle a little bit like Gronk did, maybe get a WWE championship.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming his knees are really messed up, so he's probably gonna take a year off to just recover and whatnot, and then he'll come back and be like, "Hey, I'm ready to go."
He didn't play last year.
He played a little bit.
He didn't play last year.
I had him on my fantasy team. He had this one game where he went off, but then he disappointed me for a little bit, so I cut him.
Trey, he didn't play 5 games last year,
but he still played some games. But it's because of injury. That's what I said. Because of injury.
You had a whole year to rest.
I mean, bulky knees. That's what he said. He had knee issues.
Okay, sure, whatever. To each his own, I guess.
I mean, hopefully he's able to recover and come back because I do want to see what he can do with Tom Brady went last time.
Yeah, I do. I want to see that too. I think it'll be interesting to see him, Gronk, and Edelman. I mean, Brady, Gronk, and Edelman together. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, especially since they don't have Antonio Brown no more.
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good sub. You swap out AB and you give him Julian Edelman. He basically has his boys from New England there.
Or he might not even take a year off. He might just come back during like training camp or preseason. Like, hey, coming out of retirement, because it's not like the situation with Rob Gronkowski, because Rob Gronkowski still had years on his contract, so they had to trade. The Patriots had to trade Gronk to the Bucks.
Right.
With Edelman, they just cut him. He's a free agent now, so he could just leave. He could come out of retirement and just sign somewhere.
I don't know, bro. I don't really see. But like I said before, maybe it still doesn't make him a Hall of Fame receiver. Even if he were to come back this year, stay until 2023 with Tom Brady, win however many Super Bowls, it's still not gonna make him a Hall of Fame receiver in my mind. Because it's just like he's not better than Ocho Cinco. He's not better than Torrey Holt. He's not better than these guys. So it's not gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Just gonna get the vote. You just don't get the vote for me, dog. Sorry. Just don't get it. He just don't get it.
He's a role player. Hell, if Wes Welker doesn't get in, then Julian Edelman definitely doesn't get in. Like, that's just the truth. But moving on, going out of bounds. Invincible. Have you seen it?
Oh, absolutely. I've been watching every episode.
How do you feel about it?
Bro. Okay, at first, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like they kind of bit the Justice League flow bar for bar. It's kind of like had Batman, somebody like Martian Manhunter, The Flash. It kind of had like you kind of really bought everybody, kind of bit the flow a little bit, but now all of a sudden it's like it's not. It has its own flow to it, but it's weird. I like it though. I kind of like how Invincible is starting to come into his own. Last episode kind of scared me though because he was getting hammed up a bit.
He was getting handled. He was getting handled. Nah, it's just with the Guardians of the Globe, they're like a parody of the Justice League. That's what they're supposed to look like. That that's why they got beat up so easily. By Omni-Man. But with I know with Battle Beast, the lion guy, he's supposed to be like super like extremely strong, and they compared it to like, and he was going up against pretty much teenagers, right? So they compared it to Kingpin hiring Thanos for a street fight. Because Battle Beast is just that strong. There was no way Invincible could handle him. Battle Beast is on par with Omni-Man. So of course, he almost killed everybody.
Dude, like it's like it really like it's like Thanos fighting Teen Titans look like. Cause they all got they were getting slaughtered.
You see him when he broke that man's arm.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I shouldn't laugh when the heroes get beat up, but it's just the way they was getting tossed around. It was like, oh, that's all you got. My turn. Me.
And then he just left because he got bored. He's like, I got time for this.
Hey, bro, how do you use mercy rule on yourself? Like, yeah, bro, I'm good, fam. Y'all had enough.
Exactly.
Come back to me when y'all lift the weights.
It's tragic. And then you see Omni-Man just watching the whole time, just like, you disgust me.
Bruh, that's the one dude. Omni-Man, I can't wait for them to find out. I can't wait for them to find out what he did. Cause he's a sick puppy. He's a very sick puppy. He deserves less. He deserves so much less than what he has.
Yeah, I know he's gonna reveal himself soon enough. Maybe like at the last episode, he's gonna reveal himself, and then it's just gonna be a cliffhanger, and for the next season.
Yeah, in the season 2.
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen.
That's crazy though. And it's like I saw like the video trending on Twitter, and I was just like, yo, he squeezed man's head like He's slamming people into the ground and it's obliterating their bodies. I'm like, yo, what's up with this guy?
Yeah, that boy like that.
Yeah, he really is. But my thing is this: Invincible is his son. So do you think he don't have the power to do this eventually?
Oh yeah. I know. Like in the comics, like they have the same abilities and stuff. But right now, of course, Invincible is weaker because their species gets stronger as they get older. And he's 17 and just got his powers. So he's pretty weak, you know, compared to his father. But as he gets older and gets stronger, and on top of that, they have to work out. To maintain their strength, they actually have to work out like Saiyans and stuff. They're not super strong like Kryptonians where they're just strong automatically. No, they actually have to work out and get stronger.
That's crazy because this is like you notice like whenever he power like that's what like he spazzes out like bro he really can be on it but like he gotta learn how to maintain that so he can go ahead and Hulk smash everybody, you know.
Yeah, he'll probably get stronger when he has that confrontation with his dad. But moving on, it's hot take time. And my hot take of the day is the Heat will sign Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry during free agency. I believe the Heat will probably make some sacrifices with the current roster, whether they win or lose in the playoffs. I believe they're going to make some sacrifices, and they're going to have enough. They're definitely going to have enough cap space to sign both players, and hopefully they can re-sign Victor Oladipo as well. So this kind of deal to create a real super team. But that's my hot take.
See, your hot take kind of ties into mine, and my hot take makes your hot take even more like believable. The Heat will not sign Victor Oladipo, but this is an asterisk by it. If he does not get healthy, I mean, if he manages not to get healthy, if he does not get healthy, he won't be in a Heat uniform next year. Even with a discount, I feel like Pat Riley's willing to just take that loss and sign and give that money to Kawhi and Kyle Lowry. Maybe even give Kawhi even better payday. Or maybe even a sign and trade for Victor Oladipo for Kyle Lowry. But at either rate, if he does not manage to get healthy, I just don't see him in a Heat uniform much longer. At the end of the day, like I said before, Pat Riley's in win now mode. He wants to win now. So if Victor Oladipo does not get better, unfortunately, he won't be a part of the team. And I hate that because I do want to see Victor Oladipo in a Miami Heat uniform. I think he's a very good fit for us. And him, Kawhi Leonard, and Kyle Lowry with Jimmy Butler and Bam would be absolutely unstoppable. But we have to call it what it is. And unfortunately, if he's not going to be able to play, he won't be on our team.
I agree with you. Yeah, if he's not healthy, he's going to be playing another uniform next season. But all right, guys, that's it for today's show. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for @Boca Tribune. You can also follow us on Instagram at @the_timeout7. Follow me on my personal Twitter @TreyAvon3. Noah.
You can follow me on Instagram at ArcBuilder Noah and Twitter at WhoBuildsArcs.
Timeout airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. As always, this is the Avant Bros signing off.